So it looks like CEO of Take-Two believes that we will get Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 console upgrades this generation. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So there has been quite a lot of leaks and rumors surrounding this generation console upgrades. So PlayStation 5 Pro and Xbox Series Elite, I guess we could call it like that. And we've got another one. So this time around, this information is a courtesy of Mr. Zelnick, who is a CEO of Take-Two, one of the biggest publishers in the world. So one of the biggest game publishers in the world, I should say. So I'm not saying that this is a final confirmation of these consoles' existence, but still, in his opinion, we will get these upgrades or mid-gen refresh consoles, right? Which makes me happy, I guess, makes me smile, because I do want to see these consoles on the market. I think they are necessary, they are needed, not by anyone, and I'm not actually saying that, hey, you should just sell your consoles and buy a PlayStation 5 Pro or next Xbox. I mean, if you're happy with your current console, that's fine, totally fine with it. But the fact of the matter is that console are closed boxes. You cannot upgrade them manually and stuff, and the only way to get a more power out of them is basically to buy a new one, a more powerful one, right? And I understand that current gen consoles still has not been fully utilized by developers just yet. I mean, most of the games that we've seen so far were cross-gen titles, and even proper this generation titles were still using or are still using last generation technology. Like, look at some of the latest releases. Redfall, despite the quality and stuff, but Redfall, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Hogwarts Legacy, I think it's Unreal Engine 4 game as well. So these games are all Unreal Engine 4 games. Actually, sorry, Hogwarts Legacy may not be Unreal Engine 4. Either way, this is still a last generation technology, and Hogwarts Legacy is a cross-gen title as well. It just has been released for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 too, right? And there's more games like that, basically, right? Like, hardly any game that released recently or even in the past, last year, is using any sort of like a proper next-gen game engine, if you know what I mean. This year is going to be interesting because we will finally start seeing these Unreal Engine 5 games, and hopefully, some other internal next-gen kind of optimized games on and stuff, right? But Unreal Engine 5 is going to be a big one, and not sure if you've seen Lords of the Fallen. This is a proper Unreal Engine 5 game. They shown some trailers of gameplay and how the game is going to look like, and it looks fantastic. But this is a proper next-gen game using next-gen game engine, right? So, but still, like, they are showing these pretty graphics and stuff, but we still don't know, what's the performance going to be like, right? I mean, listen, Star Wars Jedi Survivor looks great, but it runs at 30 frames per second. Performance mode is terrible. I mean, it's not really 60 frames per second. It's more like 45 on average. So, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that performance will be like that in every single game, because obviously that depends on the game, on levels, on use of graphics. I mean, one of the reasons why Star Wars Jedi Survivor is so demanding is that it's using ray tracing. So levels that have a lot of reflections, for example, and this game uses ray tracing for reflections, at least some of it. So these levels with a lot of reflections actually really takes a hit when it comes to performance. There are some levels that run at 60 frames per second, that's fine, or very close. But like I said, generally speaking, these next-gen games going to be even more demanding, in my opinion, because there's just going to be way more effects and everything that these consoles will have to handle. And yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if you are happy with playing games at 1080p, 60 frames per second, I mean, Xbox Series console or PlayStation 5 may be a great console to be. I'm not going to even talk about Xbox Series S because we are looking at probably 1080p, 30 frames per second kind of console, and that's probably going to be dynamic too. But yeah, but Series S has been really built with these low resolutions and lower frame rate, I guess, games. But what I'm trying to say is that in order to really, for these future games to shine on consoles, yeah, we will need these console upgrades. And last generation, PlayStation 4 Pro launched 3 years after PlayStation 4 launched, right? That was 2016. Xbox One X launched 4 years after Xbox One launched, right? So 2017. And so these consoles, especially when it comes to Xbox One X, it launched like literally halfway through the generation, because the new generation didn't start until late 2020. So that was like halfway through the last generation. So we are closing to, well, third year this November. So obviously we're not really going to get these consoles like this year because A, they have not been announced, and B, this generation got a little bit delayed. So it was very slow start because of COVID and that these kind of things, and COVID obviously it affected the supply chain, and that's why you couldn't really get consoles at the very beginning anywhere. So now that's changing. We are finally going to start seeing these proper next-gen games. Next year is going to be even better, but I think 2020, late 2024 or maybe 25 would be perfect time to release these upgrades, because the technology is going to be there. These kind of consoles could be like around twice as powerful and capable, maybe even more than current gen consoles. So that would give a nice boost to some of these games, that's for sure. And well, more effects, ray tracing at 60 frames per second, and that kind of stuff. I think that would be a cool thing to have on consoles too, because PC is there already. PC is getting better and better graphics cards, better CPUs, etc., etc. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. And there's more and more open world games currently on the market. So yeah, for open world games, you really need quite a lot of power, not only GPU, but also CPU. Well, more memory. Xbox Series S is struggling with memory already. Well, I really do hope that they will finally start using SFS, but SFS is not to speed up, well, processing. It's more to avoid bottlenecks when it comes to memory and stuff. Developers will be able to put more stuff into the memory, but it doesn't necessarily affect the performance like per se, right? It gets rid of bottlenecks, but that's another story for another video, I guess. So yeah, guys, listen, good to hear that one of so prominent kind of people in the industry actually talks about these upgrades. This is not a confirmation by any means, but there is this kind of sense, feeling, if you know what I mean, in the industry, that these consoles may be real. That it's possible that we will get them. Tom Henderson is firmly firmly convinced that PlayStation 5 Pro is in development, that is actually releasing late next year. So if PlayStation releases PlayStation 5 Pro, I bet money that Microsoft will release their upgraded consoles too. It may be a similar situation just like last generation, where PlayStation launched PlayStation 4 Pro first, and a year later Xbox launched their console. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm super excited about it. I hope you are too, and we'll see how that goes. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.